Logan, you mentioned recruiting when we were
Hmm.
going over the Miami game, and it's not like you just because you dominate your rival that you expect like five guys to commit the next day. But has there been anything that you've picked up, or do you think there's any kind of movement or any positive signs coming from that game, or just in general over the last few weeks?
There's been a lot of eyes, I would say, for sure. And like I had mentioned earlier when Jason was on the show, a lot of recruits, current commits too, that were in attendance for that game, watching Florida State dominate. And then there was also commits to Miami or to others that were also in attendance watching there to give that are also in the same recruitment of Miami and Florida State that, both teams have had them on campus multiple times for visits, official visits, definitely during the offseason, the spring. But to have that performance against your rival, to dominate them in the fashion that they did, and also to show the recruits, hey, this is what happens when we're down by this much in the first quarter, second quarter. Fans are leaving the stadium like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an atrocious night for Mario Cristobal and what they want to do on the recruiting trail, in my opinion, just to see how badly and how quickly a fan base will quit on you. And I hate it for kids like that. I hate it for the players out there. I mean, I know a lot of those players from Miami, they, they're practicing, they're working hard, all that kind of stuff. And just to see the fan base leave on you like that definitely has got to suck. It hurts. But, football is football. This isn't tennis. We're not playing golf. Football is a man's sport. And you just got to, if you're going to commit to something, you have to commit to it and stick with it. But Florida State came in and stole the show on national television on ABC and prime time, and was able to have multiple highlights, playmakers making plays both offensively and defensively, which Florida State and Mike Norvell have preached since his opening press conference since arriving at Florida State. Come here, we want playmakers, and sure enough, he put a lot of his players on Saturday night out there to make plays and to put on a highlight reel offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I got to think for a potential recruit, and it's difficult for me to get myself in the head of a 18-year-old, but still that, if you're going to an Alabama game, you're going to a Georgia game, fill in the blank, what needs to be sold. If anything, it just needs to be sold against the other Georgias and Ohio States or whatever, to another degree. But when you're talking about a big brand, but that's building, there's always that thought that, if you win a big game and you can show them an amazing atmosphere, that's just an awesome experience. And they get to see, okay, this is what this place is like when it's rocking and big win and this program's headed in the right direction. If you lose it, but you're competitive, you can sell see, we show out for the game. We were here. We were this close. And you know what? You can be the difference. We lost 28-24. You can see how close we are. And the recruit can see it. They can see both the hope of the trajectory in the right direction, but they can also see where they're needed and they could play early. But to see that scene at Miami where the team's falling apart and people are hitting the exits at halftime, I don't know what you sell there.
Run away from the massacre, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did, except for the Florida State fan base. So they got to hear the war chant through the crowd there. But, it looked, watching that fourth quarter, and then, Florida State puts out a cinematic reel after games, and just to watch the fourth quarter and what they were filming, and then just to see the stands like that is just looked like a high school game, if not worse. It was bad, and that's kind of how it was. This is how it usually is. As tonight, we don't see any Miami fans in the chat. We won't see them until the offseason, as usual. They were all in here this last weekend, or this last show, giving us a hard time and making fun of us, calling us clowns and everything. And God forbid, I predicted Florida State to absolutely demolish them. But they're not with us here. We won't see them for a good couple of months until the summer. So it was good seeing you guys. Enjoy your rest. Enjoy every bit of it. You got a big time offseason coming up because, like we talked about earlier, Mike Norvell has a momentum. It has momentum on the trail on the recruiting side of things. And he, just dominated that on national television, prime time on Saturday night. Playmakers, Defense played well. Offense played well. The play calling was set up for playmakers, explosive plays, discipline.